ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान् सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखावतं च। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरतुष्य नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यो च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So, interesting topic. I mean, it's sad, but yes, we need to discuss also whether we become angry on kids. It's not a new phenomenon. It's not that becoming angry, if you don't become angry at all, then also it's wrong. Kids are very smart and they know how to take advantage of it. So then discipline will be missing. So what we need is a balance. Basically anger management. But we'll talk in more in context with the kids. Now, what is the situation today? And how was the situation, say, a few decades ago? We have to understand that. You know, the contrasting factors. Today, the situation is the families are nuclear. So, husband, wife, maybe one child or maybe two children. So what is happening? Husband is working, wife may be working, may not be working. That's the scenario what's going on. And then kids, they're going to school. And especially plus 2 years, they are, not going to schools, but are online. So then we need to, so this is family. Now what happens today? Or say, let us go, few decades back, at least in many cities in India, except, few big cities, metros, where families were nuclear even few decades ago. We have a situation all over India. Now I'm talking about, 3 to 4 decades ago, where the families are joint families. So what happens? There is, grandfather, grandmother, there's so many, uncles for the child. I'm telling. Apart from mother, father, grandfather, grandmother, some uncles, some motherly ladies. I'm not talking about younger girls, motherly ladies. So they are there. And what happens in a joint family? A child takes birth. From that time onwards, because he is the new, new entry, a new person in the family. So he or she gets a lot of attention. And everyone is giving attention. And this goes on for few years. And then another child comes, because there may be 5 or 6 brothers along with their wives. So kids are, it's like an ongoing process. Then even when they grow, they're like 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years, even till 18th or even more than 18, 20, 25. After 20, they're more or less still they need. So what happens? Mother is not having so much pressure, dealing with husband, dealing with family, dealing with kids. Kids are taken care. And in a joint family, not much. I mean, if I have to tell you this, I don't know how many psychiatrists around the world will tell you. This is what scriptures they teach us. Nowadays, too much time husband and wife they're spending with each other. So then, is that wrong? You may ask, Prabhu, the way you are saying it appears it's wrong. It's not wrong. But what happens when we are not devotees? Spending too much time together, eventually, human tendency is there. Take a situation. Okay, let us complete the joint family thing and then we'll come to this situation. So then mother has not much worries about how to, raise the child. Grandparents are there, so many other, uncles and aunties, everyone in the house, they take care. And the child also comes to mother. That you would have seen. Some of, of you would have seen that happens. So that gives a personal time. I'm especially talking about mothers. That gives personal space to mother. Every human being needs a personal space, and personal space means only you, nothing else. Obviously, Krishna is there, but you, not even husband, not even kids, not even mother, father, mother-in-law, father-in-law, nobody. Some space is required. That's relaxation. The system, especially the mind, the emotions, emotions are relaxed now. Otherwise, if you don't have space every time, what happens? Because how we project ourselves in front of others, it's different. It's not all the time natural. It's not all the time how you are, your personality. We have a masking. So we mask. And then a lot of emotions when you deal with people. So when you're completely in your personal space, no emotions. All the emotions are just settling down. They're relaxing. They're relaxing. And also you don't have to, put up any mask. You are what you are. You are in your room, windows, doors, everything closed. It's just you. It's for everyone, whether men, women, kids, everyone need that space. Ideally, that space is for you to connect at a deeper level with the Supreme Lord. That is the fuel. It's how, they say, don't use the mobile phone when it's charging. Because electric shock may come onto your body because the electricity is flowing. But another thing also, give some time to that poor species. I don't know what species telephone is. Give some time to that entity. Even though it may be a matter, it's not a living being, but give some time, relaxing time. So similarly, we need alone time with Krishna to recharge ourselves. Very, very important. We'll come to this when we talk about the conclusion. So that was how child was, raised few decades ago. If any one of you, I don't know how was Bombay a few decades ago, but other parts I have seen. So I can talk about that much. I'm talking basically about joint family. Especially grandparents, they like to play with kids. elderly people, they also become like kids and they can play with them. Not every time mother and father, so they can play. Fathers have a very uh, less interaction because he has to go to office. He will only, while going, he will pull the cheeks, or maybe just spend few minutes with the child. Not much uh, time a father can give because he has to earn. So the child is either with mother or with grandparents or with the entire family. And this keeps moving. So then everyone gets their own space. Now, what happens when you don't get that space? The emotions are always on, going very haphazard. Becomes a lot of emotions, sometimes positive, sometimes negative, becomes a messy situation within us. And now mess is, being created within you. It has to go somewhere. You will blur out. It's very natural for a human being to blur out his or her emotions. Now imagine today's situation. Mother alone at home, father is at office, and mother also gets tired. I mean, all of you mothers, my humble obeisances, because you're also human being. You have a body which pains. How a mother alone in the entire house, nobody is there, she takes care of the child. Now, whether children are, like infants or even little bit grown up, you know, they do not understand anything. The timetable, they just focus on themselves. That's how they are. Now, when you are looking for some personal time, either child is crying, or asking for a food, or asking you to play with the child. Sometimes these infants, they just cry. So I asked few parents why they cry. They just want to play with someone. They are feeling very neglected. In the world, in the entire world, children, they seek attention everywhere. They want attention. They are attention seekers. If you don't give attention to kids, they feel neglected. They start crying. So they need, especially babies, they need attention. Someone should play with them. Either they're sleeping or they're playing. Anyways, a newborn baby hardly wakes up for a few hours in a day. Now, mother is awake whole night and whole day. So then what happens? There's a lot of emotions. Body is taking a toll. Emotions are messed up. So you blur out. And that can come out in the form of anger. Now, it may be possible that you have two kids. One is 5 years old boy. One is 6 months old girl. So too much pressure. And then if a mother becomes angry, she'll become definitely angry on the 5-year-old son. It's not that she has, she's venting out the anger. No, she's just a lot of emotions and she's blurring out. So I was talking, there's a situation. Now today's situation, see what happens. I was talking that husband, wife, two people staying for a long time together, how it impacts. When Krishna is not in the picture. If husband and wife both are devotees, they're chanting together, they're reading together, they're serving the deities, and they're going to temple, taking up some service, preaching, fantastic. But otherwise, if you see from Bhagavatam, if you see how Vedic culture was, husband has their own rooms and wives has their own rooms. Like King Dashrath has his own palace. And there are palaces of queens, 3 principal queens. So he either spends time with any of the queen, or otherwise he just is, when he has too much anxiety of the kingdom, he's on his own. So now husband in a joint family comes from office or from business. He has his anxiety of business or office. He comes and then he, kind of, blurs out on someone and he goes. So it's not a big problem because the family is there. But only husband and wife are living in a nuclear family. What will happen? The husband will come, he'll get frustrated. The wife will want to have some time, but then problem starts. Emotions are messed up. So again, personal space is not there. In a joint family, if one person goes to the room and spends some time saying that I'm tired, nobody will bother. Imagine a family. I mean, maybe someone of you are living like that. Imagine a family, husband, wife, and kids, and kids are out in the school. Or maybe they are evening, they are busy studying or watching TV, and wife is, like waiting for husband to come so that she can talk. And husband is no mood. Both are human beings. So that is where the problem starts. Spending too much time together without being Krishna conscious. Initially, it may look very, the picture is very rosy. Everything very, it's a different world. But then reality comes. Now, a child sees a situation where husband and wife are not, peaceful. They're agitated. Both are agitated. They can feel that vibes. If they are in the joint family, and the child can go sometime to grandfather or grandmother, even a grown-up child, even a teenager. A teenager will be more comfortable talking to, his or her uncle, aunt, or grandfather, grandmother, rather than talking to mother and father. That's the tendency. So it's good for teenagers to grow because they have some friends. A father can never become friends of their, kids when they are small or they are teenagers. We are talking nowadays, the father becoming, father has to discipline. Someone has to discipline also. If father becomes friend, then who will discipline the child? So that is why they seek, nowadays, they seek friendship outside. The kids, they want to go outside, they have friends, and then, sometimes they get into wrong practices. So this is what the scenario was. This is now the scenario is. Now, in this situation, what happens? Whether father or mother. And especially, okay, one more situation. We have to add this Corona time. Recently, I was at someone's house, and I saw mother, cooking in the kitchen. I mean, I was my relatives, my family members, and mother is cooking, and the child, who's like 10 years old, is running around outside the house playing with the friends, and the Zoom call is going on, and the teacher is calling. The teacher is calling, mother cannot respond, even though mother is hearing. It's like going to school, going back to school again for mothers. They are attending all Zoom calls. I didn't know this until I found out recently. And the mother is looking for the child. Where is he? Where is he gone? And she's running up and down, calling out, him, but he's not visible. Then finally, she finds him. She finds him. What will happen? She grabbed him, brought him to the kitchen and respond to the teacher. I have to cook, so you respond to your teacher. So that pressure is another pressure. What? I mean, can't avoid. Inevitable pressure. Otherwise, when schools were open, thank God the schools are open. I mean, all of your parents, most of your parents, and you know what it means when the child is not going to school. First, when there was the first lockdown, okay, entire family is together. Again, see what happens. If entire family is together for some time, it's good. But then prolonged, 2 years? 2 years. Unfortunate. Many divorces all over the world. because husband and wife staying too much together. There's a tendency of human beings, when you are together with some other person for a long time, you tend to find fault in them. You tend to find fault in them. And then the first fault and second one and third and fourth, and then eventually over the time, over the months, over the years, you see only faults in the person. Otherwise, how it is possible? How is it possible when a young boy, a college going boy, a college going girl, they love each other so much, as if nothing exists in the world, and they get married and they're happy, and then why the situation has come, they don't even want to see each other's face, because you are only seeing faults in another person. And this is happening because continuous staying together. So now this is another pressure which is building up on the parents. The children are not, otherwise children are going to school. Okay, morning fun, 1 hour pressure was there. To wake up child is not easy. There's so many nakhras, they'll cry, they'll crib. And somehow that 1 hour pressure is there. You have to hurry up, then push them into school bus. And you are like, moksha mil gaya, liberated. Then another child, the big one, husband, then you have to push him off. They give him, breakfast and lunch, and then he goes. That is the relaxing time. And husband is getting his own space, and wife is getting, and child is getting. See, all three are getting their own space. They're interacting with others. Okay, let me tell you a little deeper philosophy. Law of karma. So what happens? I have my karma. Today is Sunday. Okay, Sunday is over. Monday, I'm supposed to get 2 gulab jamuns and 1 bowl of paneer sabji. Tomorrow's festival, that's why I'm just counting on it. And some paratha, some pulao and all that. Also, I'm supposed to get some donations. Okay, for me, because I don't earn, so donations. So this is good part. उल्टे हाथ में, left hand में कुछ नहीं हो रहा है, पैसा आने वाला है. Now, but my karma is not all good, na? The mix of karmas, some good, some not so good. So then I am also supposed to get some accusations, some criticism, and maybe some bodily discomfort. Either I'll skid somewhere, I'll slip while walking down the stairs, something will happen. Now what happens? I'm staying at home, and only another one person is there. Say husband, wife are staying at home. So husband has karma, wife has karma. The result has to come. So when the wife is due for positive results, reaction of positive karma, then husband has to give. Krishna will make husband an instrument. So wife is happy. Oh, I love my husband so much. You are the best husband. But my dear lady, you also have some bad karma of previous life. So wait. Who will give? Husband will give. And now husband becomes, hey, you are a demon. You are an asura. You are a Ravana. And similarly, for husband, good karma, then he will say, oh, my wife is like Lakshmi, Mahalakshmi. But then bad karma, oh, my wife is like Chandi. Whatever. It happens. Words, I'm just using for some fun. Words can change, but emotions are. It happens with everyone. If I stay with another devotee in one room for 24 hours, definitely we'll come out with some negative emotions for each other. And mind it, positive emotions have shorter lifespan. If you help someone, the person may forget. But negative emotions, the lifespan of negative emotions can go up to the death of the person. Revengeful nature. So that is why husband has his own space in office, wife either office or home, and the child in school. So everyone gets their personal space, some good, some bad karma, and they come together, they share with each other. Now what's happening, especially in the lockdown? Everything is between them. Two kids, husband, wife, so everyone becomes instrument. So what happens when you get frustrated? If a husband gets frustrated in office, and morning while coming, he had some, negative dealing with the wife, that adds with this frustration. And when that person comes home, even a spark, wife would have thought, okay, whatever happened in the morning, let it go. I'll try to, sort it out. But a small spark may make a person angry. Now that's what happens. Now this is between husband and wife. Similarly, it may happen. Husband is frustrated because either he didn't get promotion, or the client heavily chastised him, or there was some fault of other person, but he got all the chastisements. His boss is not happy with him, the client is not happy, and he comes on, and the son gets the result, or the daughter, dad, look at my result, and the result like maybe like 93%, 94%. The father is in a negative mood. Why you got only 94%? What rank? Oh, I was fourth rank. Why fourth rank? Why not first rank? I'm working hard, I'm paying, and then people talk, I'm paying for your money. I'm paying money for your school. I want you to come first rank. And then blah, 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 it starts. And child is not able to understand, not able to digest what happened. I mean, 94%, not bad after all. What happened? A child is not a rational person. They're small kids. They cannot understand that you might be, a wife. Okay, sometimes wife may understand. Oh, well, my Prabhu may be having some tough time in office. That's why. But child cannot understand. And imagine if a child has been already scolded by a teacher, and then you also scold him. What happens? Children, especially up to the age of 5, they don't understand any other language other than emotions. They do not have rationality. Even they grow up gradually till the time they become teenagers, adolescent. Then they become little mature, but then again their sweet 16 age comes. They become again rebellious. So it's how hormonal changes are taking place in the child. Now imagine a joint family. A father is scolding the child, son or daughter, whoever. A mother is busy. Or maybe mother also has scolded some time back. If in the house there's grandfather, there's grandmother, there's some uncle, mama hai, chacha hai, tau hai, tai hai, mummy hai, they can go. And they'll get shelter also. Who can give best shelter? Obviously devotees, but apart from devotees, one who has nothing to do. Grandfather has nothing to do with your marks. He only wants the child should be happy. So mother and father has expectations from the child that he or she should perform. Their expectation. Grandparents have no expectation. Mama has no expectation. Chacha has no expectation. So then, or even if they're there, they're okay, I'm there, don't worry. Your father is upset because of something. He may try to explain and then take care. So child's emotions, which are agitated, like you throw a big boulder in a swimming pool. Imagine what will happen. You throw a big boulder from fifth floor in a swimming pool. Obviously, the swimming pool will break, but what happened to the water? It gets agitated. So now other people are there to calm it down. Otherwise, in that agitated situation, it's not good. Child is not able to understand what is happening. Why my father is so upset? He cannot understand. Why my mother is so upset? And then, trust me, this is, I don't know about how this world knows this. Any one of you, mother or father, whoever you are, if you become angry on the child, or if you become angry on your spouse, you have definitely some liking, some affinity, some love. It's not that has gone. The superficial anger is there because of circumstances. Now, father is feeling guilty that he scolded the child. He's feeling guilty. So, obviously, he was frustrated from the office. Then he saw the result. So, he vented out that frustration on the child. Now, he has another emotions of guilt. Imagine now he sits for the dinner and there is some masala is more, some salt is left, whatever is that, you don't like the sabji, whatever, and then that guilt again becomes, turns into anger, and you went out on the wife. This is how chain reaction is happening. Anger has multiple reasons. There's no one reason for anger. Insecurity is one reason. Guilt is another reason. Expectation mismanagement is another reason. Time mismanagement is another reason. There are many reasons. People become angry. And anger for a conditioned soul is natural. So now, you know all these situations. So we'll not get into detail of this. Let's work out towards a solution. What's the solution? First of all, why a person becomes angry? Now, most of you are devotees. You understand there are three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. This material, we are controlled by material nature through three ropes. One rope is goodness, mode of goodness. Another rope is mode of passion. Third rope is mode of ignorance. So what happens in mode of goodness? You are peaceful. You don't get agitated easily. You're quiet. You're kind of tranquil, satisfied. Mode of passion is where you have unlimited desires, material desires to achieve this. I want this, I want this. And then when the desire is curtailed, because it is not in your karma, please try to understand. If you desire something, if you desire a promotion, if you desire a bigger house, if you desire a bigger car, if it's not in your karma, it will not come. But then people become angry because the desire is curtailed. So there's a lot of unlimited, there's a lot of desires, there's anger, there's a lot of passion. Emotions are always in a very agitated, in a volatile situation. The situation is very volatile when as we are more bounded by passion, the situation around us becomes volatile. And we'll come to it, how to resolve. And then a mode of ignorance is completely ignorant. It may lead to violence also. And that's what is called domestic violence. It's unfortunate, but it happens everywhere. My understanding was domestic violence is mainly with the people who are very low class in their consciousness. They drink, husband is drinking this low class wine and then he beats the wife. But recently I'm finding out it's not like that. There is domestic violence in the upper class of the society also. Very educated, postgraduates, husband, wife, and they're so sophisticated, their language is so, but when mode of passion comes, they call each other with names, and then verbal abuse and disrespectfulness and even physical abuse. It was a shock for me to understand that you know these things happen in upper society. Not only that, I'm staying in Juhu. In past few years, I've learned this happens with even so-called biggies of the society. Maybe Bollywood, maybe whatever, but domestic violence happens everywhere. And not only in India. I thought West people, in the Western world, people, they're more sophisticated. Are they? It's just mode of passion. It's the wrath which is coming. Imagine, husband is in mode of goodness and wife is in passion. Okay, manageable. If husband is in passion, wife is in goodness, manageable. When both come to passion, both become angry. They abuse each other. That when husbands, male ego is challenged, then he may resort to violence. May resort to violence. Now, this is not something which I can talk much detail here. It is something which personal counseling is required for that family, for husband, for wife. There's so many factors. How a brain or how a thinking of wife works, how a thinking of husband works. What is a male ego? What is restlessness of women? How the child behaves. So we have to understand the psychology. Nobody's talking about it, and the psychiatrist and all that, they're talking like a rocket science. They're talking which people cannot relate, which people cannot understand, but scriptures are talking which people can relate, people can understand. See, man has a certain way of thinking, he has a certain way of looking, and then woman has different. So we have to respect. We should know man is different and woman is different. A man should know how women behaves, a woman should know how man behaves, and both should know how children behave. And children are not mature, so they cannot understand how parents will behave. So everything is messed up. So anyways, that will take a lot of time, lot of, it's very unfortunate. I mean, I just can thank to Krishna. I'm fortunate to grow up in a family where there are like 30 members. Never seen domestic violence in my family. Never. Because it doesn't happen. Till date, I haven't heard. So my upbringing, fortunately, was good. But it's very unfortunate. I feel very bad for the kids who have seen domestic violence. What happens to the wife? Even it's not that husband is abusing physically to wife, and wife is yes, it's unfortunate for wife, but also husband himself is feeling so much guilty. So it's all because of mode of passion. So mode of passion has to be subdued. Now, if you see, if you go to internet, how to subdue anger, or set a limit to anger, then calm yourself down. Before you speak, you should have internal pause. Not possible. When you become angry, can you put an internal pause? No. Watch out your tone, watch out your words. Nothing works. That is the meaning, that we are bounded by mode of passion. We are not independent to function. So we have to directly target mode of passion and try to come out of mode of passion immediately and come to mode of goodness. And try to stay more in mode of goodness than going down to the lower modes. If you go to modern psychologists, go to internet, how to deal with anger, that's how they'll tell you. It's not easy. You're not able to do, and that's what they're suggesting. So some practical tips. Let's discuss some practical tips. Okay. If you think that, let's talk from the husband's point of view as of now. If you think that, imagine wife is a housewife staying at home, husband comes from office and there's a lot of frustration. At least, see, he'll not fight on the road. Why he should vent out his frustration on the wife when he cannot vent out his frustration on the public? He knows public will beat him up. They will not buy in his frustration. Why wife should become victim? So then, ideally, for husband's side, he should come immediately. Immediately, he should go and take bath. I'm telling you, very practical method, very practical. Who cannot take bath? Is it difficult? Is it like controlling your emotions? You just take bath. Water is in mode of goodness. Immediately when you're in touch with water, it just cools you down. Cools you down means what? Your passion goes away. Put on some kirtan, some lecture, lectures of Prabhupada. Put on some kirtan and listen to the kirtan and take a shower. Have that personal space. See, again, coming to personal space. So the husband will take 15 minutes or 30 minutes, take shower, change, and hearing kirtan. So immediately it takes away the lower modes away, lower modes out, and the husband comes mode of goodness. That time, wife should give that personal space to the husband. Situation is immediately controlled and children will be safe. It's not that, what happened? What happened? Tell me what happened. Why you are upset? No, give him the personal space. That's another problem. In a joint family, wife is busy with kitchen. All these Devrani, Jethanis, they're in kitchen, and all, brothers, they come from office business. Everyone goes to the room, take bath and come. So that it cools down. Give the space. Husbands, men, they work differently. If men is asking for a personal space, give him. Same is not the case with women. As what I have learned from scriptures and also from, I've seen, I told you, it's a joint family I've stayed. If a woman is asking for personal space and you give personal space, then there is a problem. If you don't give personal space, there's still a problem. So then what a man should do? A man should just listen with a calm mind. After shower, he should just hear. It's how we have to accept how what they say, men are from Mars and women are from Venus. They're different. We have to respect each other. Each other's body is different, their mind is different, their intelligence is different. Only soul is same. That is why we should bring Krishna in our family. Husband, wife, 2 kids, Krishna is missing. If you bring Krishna in your family, then what happens? Then all these little, small things are taken care of. Problems will come, but then you will have strength to deal because Krishna is there. You're practicing bhakti, you're chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, reading Bhagavad-Gita, hearing lectures. It keeps you more in mode of goodness. So now husband, wife settle, and children are happy. And you are like in a much calm mode. You're in mode of goodness. And then child comes, okay, Papa, I got only 94% and I'm 4th rank in the class. And then you will say, it's okay. You gave your best shot. It's karma. The result is not in our hand. Krishna is giving the result as per our karma. So we did best. So don't worry. Just relax. Next time you again try. And child gets motivated. Wow, my father is hero. He's my real hero. Because for children, father is a hero. And they get motivated, they get inspired. They're not scared of father. Discipline does not mean that you scare a person. So then, now this kind of upbringing is given to child. When child wants to share something, child can easily share with mother or father. They'll not judge the child. And that's the right word. They'll not judge. I told you I was in a joint family. So sometime if, when we were growing up as teenagers, we had problem. I mean, that time I was not even a devotee, not my family, but it was a pious family. So if any problem happens, anything happens in school, anything happens, then I can share. I have my cousins to share. So many cousins, younger cousins, elder cousins, everyone. The big family, I can share with anyone. That time there were no phones, no YouTube. Nowadays, another problem is people want if they're frustrated, if their emotions are, agitated, then a volatile situation, then go to and watch YouTube. It's not good. That's not solving the problem. You need spiritual content. Spiritual content will give you spiritual content. Content means material and content means satisfaction. So immediately when you are agitated or when you are seeing that the situation is arising where you can become agitated, you can become volatile, immediately you should get connected. You should connect yourself with Krishna. Either read Bhagavad-Gita, hear some lecture, chant, hear some kirtan. And especially if you're at home, just take bath. If you think the situation is too volatile, take bath. Finish it off. I'm not giving you any modern psychological solutions. I'm telling you what Srimad Bhagavatam teaches, what Bhagavad Gita teaches, how to deal with anger. It's very important. And imagine, child will feel so safe. Child will, and if tomorrow if child does something wrong, the child will have courage to disclose his or her heart to father or to mother. Because upbringing is like that. I mean, it may appear that I am talking very idealistic, but that's how it should be. So we have to ultimately work on ourselves. Then with our spouse, our chemistry should be such, and then that will reflect my personality and my relation, my chemistry with my spouse will reflect on the child, my relationship with the child. So that's how we have to work. So I just spoke about the difference between few decades ago, especially in the joint family and in the nuclear family now, and then how people staying together too much, then they find fault with each other. And only earlier, when a young girl and young boy meet, there is only positive emotions, there's only love, so much love, and they ignore negative. They know that my partner has this deficiency. Nobody's perfect, but they ignore it. They only see that positive. But after some time, they stay together, they spend, whether girlfriend, boyfriend, whether husband, wife, they start finding faults. The positive becomes negative. Same positive, they become negative. They start finding fault. And what remains is only fault. And then you kind of, irritated with each other. You kind of become very negative towards each other. Then the hatred develops. Sad for the relationship. And then they don't want to see each other's face. They want to divorce. So that impacts the child. So I gave the solution. It's all about, so the analysis is all about the situation I told you. Then the analysis is all about mode of passion. So then the solution is how to come out of the mode of passion and rise to the mode of goodness. So first I told you, take a shower, listen to some music, have some personal space. And please, if another person asking, especially men is asking for a personal space, give him some personal space. So that is what is happening. Woman is trying to treat men as women, and men is trying to treat women as men. Women needs to understand that men is different, and men needs to understand woman is different. They both are different. They cannot just treat each other as they want. Atmavat manyate jagat. Krishna Chaitanya sorry, Chanakya Pandit says Atmavat manyate jagat. We treat other person as we think we are, but we need to understand there's a difference also. And that coming out of mode of passion, one thing is just what, but another thing is expectation mismanagement. We have to understand. We have to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We have to read Bhagavad-Gita. We have to read Srimad Bhagavatam. We have to hear classes. We have to hear kirtans. Then that will keep us more. And especially you eat prasad. The more the person eats food like non-vegetarian food, onions, garlics, that and food which is cooked outside with a lot of, imagine you go to a hotel and the cook, he's cooking with a lot of, he has problem with his boss, he has problem with his wife, he has problem with his colleagues, and he's cooking. So all the negative emotions are just entering the food, and you are eating that food. And you think suddenly, we went out at the family dinner, everything was good, while coming, why we are fighting? Because you ate the food which was filled with negativity. So that negativity, see, food goes to body, but the consciousness of the cook goes to the consciousness of the person who eats that food. Very important to this. People are eating outside colleagues, they are frustrated. I've seen so many cooks frustrated. They don't get a good salary. They see that we are cooking in a 5-star hotel and so much money is coming, everything, but I'm not getting all my employer, he takes all the money, doesn't give us the due credit, and so then he's frustrated. So please eat prasad, cook at home, eat vegetarian. You see, vegetarian controls anger. You don't see cows becoming angry with each other, but tigers and lions, they can't stay together. So it's very important that you don't eat onions and garlics and non-vegetarian food, because that agitates, that brings in more passion and ignorance in the person, in the consciousness of the person. And vegetarian food will bring you more in goodness. But when you offer that food to Krishna, that becomes spiritualized. So you actually go much beyond goodness. So it's good. So even the situation is volatile, but you are eating regularly prasad, that controls. So chanting, reading, hearing, and eating prasad, Krishna prasad. When you offer the food to Krishna with proper mantras, that becomes Krishna prasad. When you eat outside, you know what you're eating. So these are the few things which I told you about how to just come out of the lower modes, like mode of passion and ignorance, and be situated in mode of goodness. Stay more in goodness. That will help you to control your anger with anyone and everyone. Hare Krishna. If any question, we can take 1 or 2 questions. If not, please practice what we discuss. It will help you. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, what happens is, like, when we tell our kids, okay, this time you study, from this time to this time you can play and all. So initially they keep saying, okay, yes, I'll follow. Even if we tell them, you make your timetable according to your wish, and then you follow it, they make a nice timetable, they show us and everything. 1 day, 2 days, it goes on fine. Then again, they get into that TV mode, playing mode. Friends are going, I have to go. Mom, they are calling me, I have to go. Because if I go late, then they'll not take me in the team. So then they're not following the timetable for a regular time. So how do we control them? And we know that if they can, follow it, they'll be able to finish everything. And they also know that they'll be able to finish and go peacefully and play. So how do we this thing?
So See, that's exactly what I was saying. Children are not rational. They don't understand all this. You are setting a timetable of, if your child sets a timetable, uh, there's peer pressure. Why you want your child to perform good? Because you saw the neighbor's child is performing good, your sister's child is performing good, your brother's child is. So you also have a peer pressure. So they also have a peer pressure. Everyone is playing. Why shall I not play? Okay. He has not studied. Okay. Sometimes we just relax. If you are a devotee, you will understand. It's okay. He will get, your son or your daughter, they will get whatever they are due for. Their karma will give. Let them, I mean, trust me, I'm not lying. We never made any timetable. My mother in my entire life never told me, why are you playing? Why are you not studying? I got good numbers. I did my MBA. She never told. She was busy with her work. My father was busy. Rather, I was, more time I was spending with my father in business, even as a teenager, even when I was 10 years old. Then how did I achieve? Am I not happy in life? But we are putting too much pressure that I did not cover in the subject matter today, because it will take another. We're putting all our pressure, all of it. I said one thing: expectation mismanagement. Too much expectation from the child. Okay, let him play. No, but he will be left behind in the competition. What competition are you talking? All the toppers, either they are becoming crazy or they are committing suicides. That's what is happening in the world. Does that mean if anyone is a school topper, does that mean he has a good career? There's no relationship. World needs to understand that. And now some of the psychologists in the West are talking about it. This is karma theory. It's not like that. So you have to understand, okay, they're not rational people. Child. You are saying child, he's a child, how can he follow the timetable? For him, that discipline doesn't work. If everyone in the society, all the kids in the society are playing, he will play. So, okay, sometimes now we have to balance. Okay, I'm not saying that, ignore his studies completely. Then it's okay if timetable goes, out of the track. It's okay for some time. Again, you should give him space. Children need space, more space. If all, imagine if you have, say, 3 4 sisters, and all sisters are meeting, are having a gathering. Suppose all sisters stay in Bombay and they're having gathering after marriage, after long many years. Finally, after 2 years of COVID, all sisters are meeting together. Some sisters are in abroad, some are in, all siblings all are coming together. You will definitely want to go there. So similarly, the child wants to go and play when his friends are playing. So then too much pressure. We are putting too much, trying to push discipline too much on the child these days. That's what I'm seeing. Chanakya says till the age of 5, give them a lot of love. From the age of 6 to 16, discipline them. But discipline does not mean that putting too much pressure. So, like a cow. So sometimes you have to tie the cow. Suppose you have tied a cow to a tree. So the rope has to be sufficiently long. If the rope is like just 1 feet, cow will get suffocated. So you have to give, rope which is long, and then let them have their own space. Set a boundary. I'm not saying don't set a boundary. Set a boundary. But discipline alone, what people think discipline means, you have to become angry, or maybe you have to put the terms and conditions with the child. That becomes too much for the child. Emotions of a free bird is just gone. So then, Prabhu, how to take care of the child? I told you, prasad. Let the child eat prasad. Krishna will take care. His karma is there. Whatever he will become, you have to only do your duty. Today, the parents are too much. This attachment also is creating a trouble. If you are attached, too much attached to a certain person, then the other person becomes, suffocated. I mean, you would have heard something called possessiveness. A wife is very possessive for husband, husband is very possessive for wife, mother is extremely possessive for the child. Then, other person gets suffocated. What is this possessiveness? Too much attachment. So as a mother, you have to do your duty and become detached. Yeah. Give your child prasad, make him a devotee, tell him that study, put him some discipline, under some discipline, and then relax. And just say to Krishna that I did my duty as a mother, you take care. Ultimately, Krishna has to take care. So that is what is happening. Someone will say, "Nahi, nahi, Prabhuji, what are you talking? Only Krishna consciousness, bhakti, what? We have to be practical." The world is going practical and going to hell. Entire Western world going practical, practical, practical. Every time the psychologists and psychiatrists are coming up with the new philosophies, new theories. It's all bogus. Nothing is working out. Parikshit Maharaj, when he was a small child, he used to play with the deities of Krishna, like dolls made out of, whatever material. Krishna. So, you have to understand, without Krishna consciousness, you cannot live in this world. If you want to be happy, you have to bring Krishna in the picture. So you do your duty, be detached. First of all, become detached. As a mother, you have to become detached from your son. You have to understand that son is an individual living being, you are individual living being. Both have their karma separate. And some karma combined. That is why you appeared, you have taken birth as mother and he has taken birth as son. He has his own karma. You have your own karma. So everyone has their own karma. He'll just go. He'll take the path. What you can do is give him spiritual dose. Spirituality. Let him chant. Let him come sometime to temple, take darshan vidhis. Prasad, to definitely. Every day, morning, afternoon, and evening. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner should be only prasad. That will change the consciousness. It has to change. The consciousness has to change. If your child is chanting 1 or 2 rounds, you should be happy mother. And then gradually it should increase. You should be very happy. As a mother, you did your duty perfectly. Don't worry too much about academics. Don't worry too much about career. The child is not worrying too much about the career. Krishna is not worried about career. Why parents? This is another thing. Parents are too much worried about the career of their children. And they think they're well-wishers. You're not well-wisher. Too much, you're just annoying. That annoys the child. Let it be. Not necessarily that every child has to go to, IIT. Or every child has to go to, West, or Europe or America to study. No, some may just, after 12, they just drop out. They may do some arts or something. Career. Sachin Tendulkar, he didn't even complete 12th. I remember when, like 25 years back, we used to watch cricket and he gave his exam of 11th and he was in the team. Who is Sachin Tendulkar today? Who does not know him? So career does not depend on studies always. That's like very, very narrow-mindedness. So today, parents, especially in India, have become very narrow-minded. Very narrow-minded. You let go. It's okay. Let him play. No, he'll be left out. Not everyone has to become an engineer. Not everyone has to become a chartered accountant or a CA or an MBA. Some will become artists. Some will become business. You see all the big businessmen in India or in many parts of the world, they have failed in their studies. That's why they're businessmen. Michael Dell, college thrown out. I'm not saying drop out, college thrown out. Einstein, Bill Gates, who was Dhirubhai Ambani? Even though his father was teacher, he didn't study much. Imagine his father would be thinking, I'm a teacher and my son doesn't study. But who is Dhirubhai Ambani today? The world knows that. So don't get too much. Whatever his karma, whatever suffering he has to get, he will get. So you don't become instrument to give him suffering. Otherwise, he will develop negative emotions towards you. You be detached. You did your duty. If you want to do something more, pray to Krishna, take care. And he'll take care. Krishna says, Pitahamasya jagat mata dhata pitama. I am the father. I am the mother. I am the well-wisher. Suhrata sarvabhutanam. I am the caretaker. I am, everyone. I am everyone and everything. So why we must become this over possessiveness, this over expectations has to go down, has to go out from the system and relax. And you also be happy, because mother and father, they are also all the time, in a volatile state of emotions. Why? Because they are not happy as the child is doing. Let him do. Let the child do. You never know what he or she can become. He may become an ordinary person. Okay. Is that wrong to become an ordinary person? Is that wrong if someone is not a rank holder? Is that a crime if someone is getting 60s or 70s? No. Okay, he'll get some job, he'll settle. You never know where he will go. But one thing, as a mother, it's a responsibility of mother and father to give Krishna consciousness to the child, to give bhakti to the child. That job you should focus more. And that also not very, become possessive. Some mothers, some fathers, they come to me, हमारा बच्चा भक्ति नहीं करता, भक्ति. It's okay. Leave it. And don't force them. Don't force them. You think about different ideas and different ways to give Krishna consciousness. Prasadam is best. Being a mother, you have to cook. And whatever you give, child will eat. I mean, he may have a selection from the menu you make. So if you want to give prasadam, different varieties, okay. Give him prasadam. Let him chant a round or two. Let him recite some verses. Keep a competition. If you have 2 kids, okay. If you have only 1 kid, okay. Then you tell your child that these are list of verses. 3 verses. After 1 week, we both will have a competition. And father will become the judge. And let us see who will remember. And inspire child. That competitiveness, inspires the child to learn those verses, to recite those verses. So that's how you have to, make the child grow, inspire them. Create some quizzes out of Krishna book or Bhagavad-Gita. Just ask. So, until now you have done good. Your son is only 10 years old, but he saves money. Mataji's son, I met last week in our class, and he says, I have saved money. Whatever pocket money I get, I saved. He has saved how much? 6,000-7,000 rupees he has saved from his pocket money. So he has good sanskaras. Very good. Mother Yashoda was always worried. What will happen to my son? He steals from other people's home, steals butter. Is butter something to be stolen? There's so much butter in our house. We have like 900,000 cows, so much milk, so much ghee, so much butter. This boy, what will I do? Who will marry him? Who will give his daughter to this fellow? So every mother has their concern, and I completely respect that feeling. But see what happens. Krishna became the king. Obviously, he's the king of every king. He's the king of the kings. And every mother has that. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mother, she was like, Sachi Mataji was like, what will happen to my child? Earlier mothers have one, emotion. What will happen to him? Who will marry? Whether he'll get a good girl. Nowadays, mothers are like, whether he'll get a good job. So don't get too much stressed out. When you are stressed out and you are trying to work too much on the child, let Krishna do now. If everything we will do, then what Krishna will do? Let Krishna do. You try to bring Krishna in the picture. He'll take care. Is that okay, Mataji? Whatever I could understand, whatever I could collect, I could give.
Yes, Prabhuji. But he's still on 2 rounds only. From first standard, he was the one who taught me to do chanting. And then he's in 5th now and he's still on 2 rounds.
Yeah, but you are on 16 round. So you should be grateful to him that he inspired you to start chanting and you are on 16 round. So he'll definitely get the credit. He is your Shiksha Guru. If not Shiksha Guru, Path Pradarshak Guru.
But he is not increasing his rounds. He always says, Bad mein, next month, tomorrow.
So bring him. So if he is not doing, bring him. Like you brought him to the school. Next time I'll meet him, next Sunday I'll meet him, I'll tell him.
Like today also his Marathi was not prepared. So I said, okay, let's finish this today. I will miss that. But neither we could do Marathi and nor I could come for the class. Because we didn't come thinking that we'll study at home. We didn't study also because there was some other problem which happened. So
that is what you ignored Krishna conscious class, Bhagavad-Gita class for Marathi. So for subject, not for Marathi. Otherwise, then people will take out of the context this video and they'll say,
No, Marathi is a difficult language for us. So
I know, but I'm saying you still chose to go for a material thing and ignored Bhagavad-Gita. So next time you don't do that. Krishna, that's why Krishna is teaching you a lesson. That you are ignoring me and taking that thing. Okay, let's see how you complete. So that's why Krishna taught the lesson. So good that Krishna is interfering in your life. So next time you don't ignore that. Gradually he'll learn. He'll hear. He's eating prasadam. Everything will go. So take slow, take easy. Take easy. Even if it doesn't become devotee, it's okay. I know I'm chanting from like 16, 17 years. My mother is chanting like hardly 1 or 2 lines. Okay. That's her karma. I can only, inspire her. What can I say? My father is not chanting, so it's okay. It's not that everyone will become devotee. You become devotee first. That is of the prime importance and urgent. So others become devotee. Many a times I tell other people to chant and they chant, they reach 16 now, they take initiation also, but my parents and someone will say, oh, it's okay. Just relax. It's very important for every one of us to be first relaxed and become a devotee. And then, so if your son is not listening to you, bring him. Next week we'll meet. I'll tell him. There'll be a different impression when other person tells.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, so we'll do that. I'll serve you. Okay, I think we should stop here. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada.